Our next speaker is Valarie Kennedy. A lot of you know her. She's a vibrant young mom of 3 that lives over by Page, Nebraska. And there's a great deal I could share about her, but to give you a clue to her energy and creativity, she runs more than one business out of Joy Boutique in downtown O'Neill, and I'll let her tell you some more about herself.
Hello, ladies. I just want to thank Jolene. Where are you? You did an incredible job. I can relate to so much of everything she said, especially like isolation and I'm like drawing a blank now. It's evening. There was a lot of stuff you said I could totally relate to, and I've been through. My spouse and I have. We actually just went on a cruise. And I remember Todd said, I feel like we are dating all over again. Because having a special needs child just takes up so much of your time. And then you feel guilty when you give him so much time. And then you're trying to give it to your siblings. And then your spouse doesn't get it. And so it was a great time to connect. And yeah, we felt like we were dating all over again. So I am like usually up here at church when I sing. I just got to move this. Okay. It just, I don't know, it feels more natural. Okay. I'm Valarie Kennedy, for some of you that don't know me, and I go to Faith Community Church here. I'm here tonight because I'm a mother with a child, special needs. He has autism, and a year ago, a lady approached me and asked if I would be interested starting a support group in O'Neill, and I didn't know what that would look like, and I've been just really praying on it the past year. And then Teresa approached me and told me Jolene was going to be in town, and I thought this was a great opportunity to get all the women together and just have a special evening. And I thought this would be a great time to introduce if people would be interested in with the support group. And the 2 ladies that are going to help me if it does generate is Monica Huber right here and Sherry Offenkamp. I was going to say Shelly. I'm like, that's not right. Sherry. I'm so sorry. Okay. But before I get into that and I guess ask questions what you guys would be looking for if we did start something like that, or create something like that, I just want to give you a brief look into my life, because I know sometimes when people, they don't want to show up to support groups because they're like, I don't know who this lady is, I don't want to tell her my life story, you know, I don't even know what, and I don't even know if we want it to be a therapy, you know, everybody like just visit. I don't know what it'll look like, but we'll talk about that at the end. I'm just going to give you a kind of a brief idea of my life and why I'm standing up here right now. So I have a boy named Liam. He's my firstborn, the oldest. This is Liam right here. He is 10 years old, and that is his parent right there, Monica Huber. He is gold. Yes, we've had some rough years, but right now we're in prime season. He is a hoot. He is funny. He loves toilets, loves them. I don't know what God has in store with us in the future, but something I will tell you now, this is like when, you know, people say when you have special needs, time slows down and you really notice things. Now when I go to the bathroom, I look at the brand of the toilet, if it's a wall mount, what kind of flush it has. I mean, and I know that sounds crazy, but he asks you right when you walk out. He's standing there, he's like, what kind of toilet was it? Was it a wall mount? And luckily, he doesn't fill them anymore. We got past that phase. That was gross. He loves power lines. We drove by a substation one day this summer, and he goes, Mom, that was an impressive substation. And what else can I tell you about Liam? He has a huge heart. He's really compassionate. He has a huge heart. So that's my boy. I'll kind of start out at the beginning of our journey here quickly. Todd and I got married. We lived in Omaha in the beginning, and we had Liam. And he started out normal. He was talking, making eye contact, singing, and at 18 months it stopped. And I had a feeling I knew what was going on. I had a feeling he had autism. I have an older nephew who, how old is he now, Mom? 22? 24. Okay, yeah. I've seen the signs with him, and I could see that Liam he had autism. So I talked to my pediatrician, and she talked to Elkhorn Schools, and I don't know, you guys probably all know the whole game there. They show up to your house for a month, and they run tests, and I will never forget this moment. They showed it to my house, and they're sitting there, and before they tell you that what they're actually diagnosed with, they sit there and they go through all the scores, and and Sherry, you're probably one of them because you're a speech therapist. I will be honest, I was sitting there and nothing was registering. I was just like, just tell me, just tell me, just tell me. And it was like an hour we're sitting there, and finally at the end they're like, with all the scores generated, he has autism. And I will tell you, my husband's face turned white. He was like sheet white, and he couldn't speak. And I remember the mother, I feel like we have to play the role and be the stand-up one, and all the women are in there, and I was like, thank you for coming, and my stomach felt like someone kicked me in the stomach. That feeling when you break up with a boyfriend in high school and college? I know. It was like that feeling in your stomach times 1,000. And we had that probably for a good week, and I'm sure you all can relate, because it's scary. Like, you don't know what your future holds, and why would God do this? Am I being punished? And yes, I'm saying that, I'm being vulnerable. We didn't know, and I would have to say I didn't really know much about Christ at the time. And my husband, he stayed up for nights on end researching autism, and it was amazing, because at my job, people were calling us from across the United States and reaching out saying, my sister told me this, or my aunt told me this, and how are you doing? And, we were honest. Todd and I would have them on speakerphone, like we'd be crying, and we're like, we don't know what to do. And they're like, it's going to pass. It's going to pass. And they told us what their plan was, what they did with their kiddos, and their kiddos are doing well now. And that's what Todd and I did. We're like, okay, we got a grip, because he was our firstborn too, and that's hard when it's your firstborn. And it's, like I said, it's really scary. And so we got a plan, and basically followed what all the families that called us. We did what they did with their children, and they seemed to be pretty successful with what they were trying to accomplish. And so in the midst of that, we moved back to Page, Nebraska. That's a small town too. That's less than, I think it's 150. It's a village. We moved back there, and then we found out Liam got into the clinic we wanted to get him into. So right after we sold our house in Omaha, we got another house in Omaha, and we were renting it. And for 3.5 years, I traveled with my newborn daughter and Liam to Omaha while Todd stayed back here and farmed, and we'd go back on the weekends. And she was talking about isolation. Wow. I was overwhelmed. Liam, you guys probably don't know this about him. He was really tough as a toddler. If we went to the grocery store or any store, we couldn't walk up and down the aisle twice. If I go there, I had to make sure I got everything, because sometimes you forget things and you have to go back. He would start hitting his head, kicking, screaming, and people are looking at you, giving that look like your child is naughty. And and they don't know. They have no idea. And I had that understanding. And gosh, and we couldn't drive up and down the street, the same street. There's one time we were going to the park. Todd came to Omaha. We were going to the park, and Todd didn't put Liam's shoes on. So we turned around, we're going down the same street, and Liam starts hitting his head and kicking and screaming and freaking out and clawing, because we already went down that road. So it was hard, and I was by myself most of the time. And I remember, luckily my best friend Stacy lived with me for 2 years in the house, and she was always there, because sometimes if I had to go to the grocery store, she would stay there, and she got engaged, moved out, got married, and I felt like I was going through another breakup, because she was like my spouse. She cried too. She felt like her kids they weren't her kids, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Todd's like, what is wrong with you? It was the night of her wedding. I was bawling. I was at home, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, what is wrong? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, I'm going through a breakup. And then she called me because her new husband was worried about her because she was crying. And I couldn't even talk to her for a week. Not that I was mad at her, but I'm like, I can't make eye contact. But she was my saving grace during that time. And for Todd, So I remember, and Stacy, she is a strong Christian. Darcy, you know this. Like Stacy, she loves the Lord with all her heart. Again, I knew who God was. I knew who Jesus was. Didn't really know the story. I mean, I grew up in church, but, I didn't pay attention. I was a kid. Sorry, Sherry. And Stacy said, hey, since we went through this breakup, would you want to join my Bible study group? It's every Tuesday night, and that way we can be connected. And I'm like, really? I go, well, I feel silly because I don't know anything. And she goes, they know that, and they're understanding, and you'll learn about it. And I'm like, well, okay. And I was hungry for it. I was, because I will tell you, Todd and I were doing okay, but I was a wreck. I remember right before Stacy called me, I sat in the hallway of my house one night. My daughter was no treat. Mom knows this. Kira was really high maintenance. She was a struggle. And she was very strong-willed, and now I'll get to this in the future. She is has a purest heart now. But I remember she was kicking and screaming. I was sitting on the floor in the hallway holding the door, and I was just bawling. And I remember it was one of my weakest moments, and I'm like, I don't know why you did this to my life. I'm not angry with you, but I can't do this. I remember saying that, I can't do this. I give up. And I'm sitting there, and my daughter's in the room screaming, and Liam is actually sleeping like an angel. And then Stacy called, and she asked me if I want to join this Bible study group, and I'm like, yes. And Todd thought, it'd be a great time for you to get out of the house. And one of Liam's therapists at Monroe Meyer said, I will babysit for you. And so she came over every Tuesday. Well, I joined this Bible study group. I'm sorry if it's getting late, but all right. So I joined this Bible study group, and it changed my world. It changed everything. The people in there were incredible. I learned so much, and I remember there was one point I was like, this is the best book that's ever been written. And I noticed this change evolving in me. When I got stressed, I'm like, okay, what would Jesus do in this moment? He wouldn't be standing here like a freak crying or start yelling. He'd probably just get down and make good eye contact and, just really look at him with genuine eyes and be like, what can I do? How can we make this better? He loved them. Jesus is full of love, and it works every time. And to this day, I'm human. I forget. I go crazy. I don't go crazy, but I start yelling sometimes. And I wish Jesus was there to just whack me across the head and remind me. But it does. It works every time. Love heals. It does. I feel like when things are going good, that's when Satan's going to come in, because things are going too good and he wants to try to interrupt you. And that's when you get to hold your ground and just remember that love is the answer, and it conquers every single time. So here I am in this Bible study group, and I don't remember what verse we were in, and they were talking about how challenges happen in your life. And God has a purpose, and there's a reason for it. And you usually find out in the near future. You're like, okay, aha. And I remember sitting there thinking, I wouldn't be here if it weren't, I think I've told you this, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for autism. If my son wasn't in my life, I wouldn't be in this Bible study group. I wouldn't have met these new people. I wouldn't have learned about Christ. I wouldn't have learned how to really love. I wouldn't learn how to handle stress. My marriage was doing way better. Todd actually came to a couple of those Bible studies when he was in Omaha, and he's like, he would leave just sitting in the car I could feel the Holy Spirit in there. That was amazing. He was so moved, and our marriage was strengthened from it. So many awesome things happened through that, and that's because of Christ. I wouldn't be standing here if I never went to that Bible study group. Pretty amazing. Let me follow my notes, because I kind of got, I started moving along here. Okay, we moved to Page. Liam's in Monroe Meyer for 3.5 years, and kindergarten starting. We're like, well, we can't keep the family separated anymore. So we start Liam at kindergarten here, and we joined Faith Community Church, and I wanted to stay constant in the Bible, his breath. The Bible is his breath, and so I joined a few Bible study groups, and I've had some even more aha moments. It's just been so cool. what I've realized is one thing I've realized is when we have a life of special needs, our life is a story. It's a novel. There's different chapters. There's gonna be joyful chapters. There's gonna be challenging chapters, difficult chapters, and so on. And it's the never-ending story. And I had someone tell me that once, and I liked hearing that because Todd and I we like to be told the truth and not sugarcoat things. And so I could definitely say we've had ups and downs, and I'm really looking forward to our future with Liam. And it's just been an incredible journey so far. I am so sorry. I'm so lost in my notes here. Let me get caught up here. Oh, okay, I know. So I'm in the Bible study, and I had another aha moment. I remember growing up, and I kind of want you guys all to reflect on this. Growing up, I had a couple friends that had special needs. I remember one family, their brother had cerebral palsy, and I remember standing back and admiring the family. I'm like, here they have a brother that has cerebral palsy, and they're the happiest people I know. They're the hardest working people. The kids were kind. They were all really smart, but they were humble. They had humility. And they had a lot of pride, and not pride in a bad way. Pride in, if this is hard for me, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. And I've noticed, I've had this revelation, this is constant with families with special needs. I look at Lily, and I see in your children, Darcy, your kids, I mean, okay, Misty, like all of you, what I see in your children right now, because you have, not autism, special needs in your family, your children are wise. And when I used to think wise, I used to think like you're really smart. No, wise means you're experienced lifers. You've gone through challenges and changes, and you're humble about it. Like, I noticed with my daughter, she just swoops right in and she helps a kid if he's in need. People have told me my daughter has the purest heart. I know, like, all of your kids have the purest hearts. The siblings have the purest hearts. Did you put a slide up here? Oh, slide, yes, sorry. This is what I see with families that have special needs. Your children are humble, they're hard workers, they have the purest hearts, they're servants, they're kind, they're understanding, forgiving, they're wise. Isn't that cool? If you didn't have your child with special needs, this probably wouldn't be the foundation in your family, right? Because of that, they're going to have a better future. We are lucky. I mean, I think it's an incredible blessing. Like, you know, for the time I was wondering, why did God give us Liam? He knew what he was doing. I could tell you right now, I never in a million years thought my children would acquire all of these. And with the love languages, I feel like I'm constantly like, when you're doing most, I'm like, yeah, I do that every day with Liam, every day. I reach his love languages. And, but yet my kids still acquire all these qualities. Samson and Kara. Because of Jesus giving me my son, I'm more braver. I love that word. It's like one of the coolest words, brave. I love that word. I'm brave. Can you put up the moms? Okay, this is what I notice about moms. When you look around the community, I couldn't tell you how many times people came up to me and they're like, you are so patient. I'm like, really? God knew what he's doing. He gave you your child. I'm like, really? Oh, and like, I've seen people come in the store and they're like, I would have freaked out like 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, really? I feel like I am like wigging out. But I will tell you, I am not the same person I am now standing here today than I was before Liam was born. I thought life was great and I knew what I was doing, but you know what? It was like a mess. There was chaos. I don't know. I was not, the purest I could have been, if that makes sense. And I look here now and I look at all you women. Can you honestly say all these qualities up here that you were that person before your child was born? Like, because that's all I see now when I look at you guys. You're courageous now because you have to stand up for your kiddos. Understanding. That is huge. Like, we have been through it all. And when people are like, I'm so sorry, just even like the little stuff, like we don't sweat the small stuff anymore. And when something big happens, we're like, it's no big deal. It's okay. And people look at me like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's nothing. We're understanding. We're humble. And we're strong women, hardworking, because that's day to day, that's what we do. It's just hard work, making sure like everything's going well. They're getting their meds. Everything's going smoothly. We're forgiving because we know what it's like. Like, I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves sometimes that we're not doing it, and we start feeling isolated. And I feel like that just through this process we have huge forgiving hearts, and we're grateful. We have gratitude, pure at heart. I feel like all of you guys have the purest hearts. And I don't think I could, if someone was standing up here, I don't think I would ever like sit here and be like, I don't know if I acquire these, but I see it. And do you just think about, like, do you feel like before you had your child you were like this? Are you a stronger person because of your child? Jesus knew what he was doing. He gave us our children for a reason, and you sit there and you reflect on it, like, in the beginning, like, why would this happen? My life's going to be different. I have a special needs child, and he knew what he was doing. He was laying the foundation because now we are all of these things, and our children, think of the foundation they have. And it's not like they purposely are doing these things because they're trying to be these things. It just unfolds naturally within their life. And it's very securing as a parent because you're constantly worrying about your special needs child. And when you have your siblings, like they can hold their own. And I couldn't tell you how many times people told my daughter has the purest heart. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get so mad. But then I'm like, Jesus knocked me over the head. Remember, like, get down and just love on them. And that's the other thing. Like, we know how to love. We do. We know how to love because of our children. So that was my aha moment, my other one, Jesus put our children in our life to benefit us, and we are the lucky ones. I used to think different meant struggle and hard. Like when I found out Liam had autism, like, our life's gonna be different. It's gonna be so hard. It's gonna be this, I don't know, there's gonna be expenses. And I wouldn't change him for the world now. He is the coolest kid on the block in my eyes. He is such a hoot. I love him to pieces. And yeah, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay, yes. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm back there now. I just remember thinking things are going to be different, and that's what my definition of different was. And when I heard you had special needs, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this. I found when we knew Liam had special needs, families to see us, and they're like, hi, and they just kind of give you that sad face, like special needs is going to be a struggle. And some people like don't know how to interact with them, and they feel awkward, and you feel it, and he feels it. But now, different to me is a totally different meaning. It means there's going to be a change, but it's going to be a good change for the family. And special to me is like, when I hear special needs child, I think of like when you go to a store and there's a special, a restaurant, there's special. It's a good thing. It's a delightful thing. Like, we are the lucky ones. Our families, God is like, he is laying the foundation within our families of love, and people, we don't even know it. People are watching us, and they're admiring us, and we didn't know it. I feel like God just kind of put us there. We didn't have a choice. We are discipling. Some of my favorite Bible verses, Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And because our children are in our family, those things are unfolding naturally, and we're learning how to love. I had a mom come up to me at Awana one night, and they had their baby, and she came up to me, and she goes, I wanted to tell you, we found out our child has Down syndrome. And I was so excited for her. I looked at her, I'm like, really? And she goes, yeah. And I told her, I'm like, I'm so excited for you. You're going to have the strongest family bond I've ever seen. And she goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. I think it's amazing. It's a great thing. I don't think we should look at it as a struggle and hardship. It is doing so much for our souls, our child's soul, our kids. We're changing the world. We're discipling, and we don't even realize it. God just kind of put us in there without a choice. He's a good God. He's a good God. So, with that being said, I would be honored to start a support group with you ladies, and Sherry and Monica would like to help. And I don't know what that would look like. I do have sheets inside the bags that you can fill out. And on there, if you're interested in it, put your name and phone number and we'll contact you. And maybe write down a few things that you would like to see in a support group. I do know Monica and I were talking about, because I know in Omaha they would have events like the Children's Museum or the theater, and you were just talking about that for special needs children, and you can have the lights on and there can be noise. Or we could have headphones or whatever, but we would have events. And then the parents feel comfortable, and you're not trying to because I know I've been to theater with Liam, and he starts screaming, you're like, shh, be quiet, and you don't want to ruin the movie for everybody else. And so we would love to put stuff like that together. So if you guys are interested, please put your name and phone number, questions, and then thoughts of what you would like it to look like, what you would be seeking for in a support group, okay? Well, thank you. And then I did put a video together. Some of you, I hope you don't mind, I stalked you on Facebook, and you are in the video. But I hope you enjoy it. I had an honor talking with you ladies, and I really, really would look forward to start hanging out with you guys. So have a blessed evening.
I don't wanna hear anymore. Teach me to listen. I don't wanna see anymore. Give me a vision that you could move this heart to be set apart. I don't need to recognize the man in the mirror, and I don't wanna trade your plan for something familiar. I can't waste a day, I can't stay the same. I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different in me. And I don't wanna spend my life stuck in a pattern, and I don't wanna gain this world but lose what matters. So I'm giving up everything because I wanna be different. I wanna be changed,
No fair, Valerie.